everybody. Welcome to another exciting edition of Football in the Blues. We have our first female guest. I told you it was coming. I told you time and time again there was going to be somebody coming on for a chat, and it just Amanda is busy, and then I'm busy, and it's a pain in the ass. But it's always my fault. Okay, put my hands up. It's always my bloody fault. All right. So listen, we've got Amanda to come on and join us. Known Amanda for years. Great person, very, very similar to myself. She raises a lot of money for charity. Really nice job as well. Just kind, and I think the more people that we have on the planet that are similar to Amanda and I think we'd be getting on pretty well if we did have more people with that bit of compassion and a wee bit of empathy, So listen, thanks for coming on, Amanda.
You're welcome. It's a shame we're not face to face, but never mind.
I know. That's the joys of being in the Shetlands. Shetlands. It's fantastic up here. But it's one of those things that Teams and Zoom and all of that they've got their bonuses when it comes to stuff like this, because even a few of the English boys that I've had on for a chat, and they're the same. It's like it's impossible for me to get down to London and Manchester and Leeds and all that. Whereas if we just do it in Teams, it's not too bad, and it saves you getting out of the house and getting cold and shit. So it's not bad.
I suppose.
It's not too bad. So listen, first and foremost, just I usually speak to people and I usually say to them, I love the football. Everybody, we're all fans, right? So I love to see how. What was Rangers to you? How did football come into your life? Do you know how did that happen?
My dad. So my dad is a huge Rangers fan, season ticket holder. He has had me going to the game since I was about 3. But although I basically went to every single game, I wanted a season book. Back when it was the books, you need to rip the tickets out, because I wanted to do that. I wanted my own book. God, I missed those books. They were amazing. And my dad said, right, you're not getting a season book until you're able to explain the offside rule. So I was like 6.5, 7 by the time I could actually properly explain it. And then I got my season book for the following season. And I've had the season book ever since, pretty much. So season ticket holder for like 31 years, but been going to the football for like 34, 35 years, something like that. So yeah.
And you sit in with a fellow nut job of my own, Mad Stevie. Stevie's a Jamie, a guy. I worked with Stevie. He's just a life and soul. It's hard to explain Stevie. Do you know? He's the same. Like I wear my heart on my sleeve, and Stevie's very, very similar, and it's similar to yourself, Amanda. Do you know? And they're the kind of people that I got on with. Do you know? There's no hidden secrets. Do you know? And we speaking to Stevie, it's like you either like me or you fucking don't, and I don't care if you don't like me. Do you know? And I love that.
We're Marmite. We are Marmite.
That's it, Marmite. I've never been called Marmite before, but there
you go.
Craig Marmite.
You're either loved or you're hated, so you're Marmite.
generally loved the world over, even though I'm seldom out of Scotland. But that's brilliant, and it's what we need to do. I mean, I take my daughter to the football quite a lot. I usually post the pictures of her on Instagram and that, and it's funny. Like even seeing the wee one. I remember we had the kind of kit troubles with Mike Ashley and that, and I was buying the wee one Chelsea tops, and it was like there was a picture I put on, and it was like Charlie when she was 5, and then when she was 12 there, and it was like a Chelsea top with the 5 and the 12, and I do it for the kids every year, do you know, and always buy them the tops just so they've got their name and their age on it in the back. It's brilliant. I should have kept them all and just put them in that kind of order.
I've got all my shirts. It's usually home shirts I get. I do have a couple of away and third ones and a couple of goalie shirts on there as well, but I've got everything from when I was tiny. From when my mum first said that I could have one, Of course, it was mum that ruled the roost. Oh, she can't be
It's
football
always
colours, she can't do this, and then she eventually gave up. It was all right, okay.
it's always the mums that rule the roost.
Oh yeah,
I've said
definitely.
this many a time. There's a reason why women are the fairer sex, because we're all just fucking dafties, and it's
No
true.
comment.
But look, we us we've always got that. It's funny. It's like you see the memes, and it's always, oh, I bet he's thinking about other women in bed, and it's like, how the
No, he's thinking about
fuck?
football. He's
Why
thinking,
did Davies know header that out for a fucking for a
don't even
corner?
start me. Oh, level of stress over that is unbelievable.
I've had a few wee tiffs on the page. Nothing major, like, but it's, I just don't know, for a professional footballer. I don't fuck it. I can't understand that. Why you wouldn't take man and ball and it's away out for a corner. In fact, I would have headed it into the first row just so as I made sure that I hit one of them. Do you know?
Oh, and that as well, yeah, that'd have been a bonus, wouldn't it?
It's one of the ones. But oh, listen, that's cool. It's good, and as I say, it's important to bring up the kids, and it's important to bring them up the way that we were brought up. Do you know, is to have the values and the traditions and all of that good stuff, and that's kind of why I've been going to Chelsea and going to Hamburg and trying to keep up the relationships with the guys as well. It's bloody important, and I think for the last maybe 20 years, the Chelsea fans seem to have forgotten about it a wee bit with the relationship that the Rangers and Chelsea have, and it's important just to keep this going. It's funny because we're in the middle. Chelsea fans are less kind of fussed with us, apart from the older generation. But you've got Hamburg and the work that Hamburg do just now, and they're flying the flag for Rangers over there, and it's
Yeah.
brilliant. But the
I've
feelings,
got to say, I'm desperate to go over for a Hamburg game at some point, so that's on the list.
it's brilliant. I had one of the guys this morning was texting me just to ask if I was going over for the St Pauli game, but it's like in 2 weeks. So just with work and all that, it's a pain in the arse trying to go over. But I might try and go over for an away game before the end of the season. But that's something I'm thinking.
Yeah,
But
that planet isn't it, and fit it in.
that's it. It's just trying to get a team. I think that's the way to do it. Even 2 or 3 times a season is just to get a team to go over to Hamburg and
Yeah.
just love it, because they think the world of us over there, and it's got to be reciprocal. You know what the Rangers board's like. It's never. I think they're like politicians. The only thing they care about is lining their own pockets, and it's just
100%.
when it comes to the Hamburg fans as well, they do a lot of stuff. We've a lot of Rangers flags. Do you know? There's a great relationship there. But when it comes to the likes of pre-season friendlies, we're never thinking about
Yeah.
at the
Nope.
Volks Park. In 2012, when we were having our financial troubles, the first club, well, two clubs that put their hands up was Linfield and Hamburg. Do you know? And two of them for friendlies, and it just shows you. It's like I've always thought that nobody likes us, we don't care, but obviously there are some teams that clearly do care about us, and it's time
Yeah,
that
we need to foster those relationships, and we're not fostering those relationships at the moment, and I don't understand why.
aye,
It
that's where
makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
I said it. We should have an Ibrox tournament with likes Chelsea, Hamburg, Linfield. Remember when we were younger and it used to be the Ibrox tournament, and it was like Sampdoria. Who was it?
Yep.
Sampdoria, Man U, and Newcastle.
Yeah.
They should have something like that. Even
Things like getting Arsenal involved, because of course we had our shares with Arsenal, which of course were sold off under Craig White. We need to be getting them
aye,
back. But we've got a really strong tie with Arsenal as well. And all that is
exactly.
getting forgotten about because of everything that's happened with our directors and everything over the years. And I think it'd be really important to get that back. So getting those teams involved, and even if we've only got one share in Arsenal and they've only got one share with us, it's a start, because we're then rebuilding those relationships and things again. It just infuriates me that they've basically taken all our traditions and thrown them out the window for their own greed and power.
That's it. And it
Because
was
we're a family club, and that seems to have been forgotten about. We're just the blue pound now.
of
How much
course
money
it
can they
is.
get out of us?
That's all we seem to be, and I think
Mhm.
I was talking to your mate the other day, your man that was waiting at Ibrox, Trevor. I was speaking to him over the weekend,
Mhm.
and Trevor was saying the same. He said, "I'm just sick of it." He says, "We're being treated like it's again, we're just cash cows to the Ibrox
That's
board,
exactly what it is.
and
Yep.
it's, do you want your picture on the wall? Do you want your brick? Do you want, and we've got bloody everything, do you know? And
Mhm.
it's like, how much
Exactly.
more money can we squeeze out of people? And
Yep.
that's why I
Things like
gave up my
five
season
strips in a
ticket.
season, 5 strips in a season, and they're all like 65 quid each. Where do they think we're getting this kind of money from?
Especially COVID still kicking about and cost of living
Cost of living
crisis and
crisis.
all that.
People can't afford things right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, we were on strike, and I won't get into the politics of that because I didn't really particularly agree with it. But you go with the union, so you do it. And we got our wage rise. Fantastic. Scottish government have now put us up to 42% tax. I'm like, so what was the point of me getting a wage rise exactly?
Assholes.
Do you know what I mean? So actually, I mean, I've not done the calculations of it, but there's a chance that we were possibly better off before it.
Aye.
And I'm like, you know,
It's,
you're just constantly
it's
getting hit from every angle. And then the thing that's meant to be your stress relief, I say meant to be your stress relief because let's face it, Rangers don't do a lot of that for us these days. But you're not even getting any relief there because you feel like you want to go to the games and you want to buy the merchandise and you want to support the club. But they're just putting all these prices up and things. You think, I can't afford that. It's
that's
hard
sad.
going.
No, it definitely is. It's a hard thing, especially especially myself as a dad as well.
Yeah.
That's I mean, I took the kids, I had the chance to take them to the Dundee United game, and I
Mhm.
thought, you know what, I'd rather take them to the B game because then at least you've got you're in amongst your own. It's a tenner a ticket. It's, do you know, and it was a better
You know,
atmosphere.
my dad and I were actually talking the other day, and he said it's good that they're getting the B games back at Ibrox because he remembers when we used to, it used to be all because back then it was the reserves, and he would take
Sweet,
me and
yeah.
my brother to the reserve games at Ibrox, and you were practically filling Ibrox for a reserve game because it was
I,
cheap and people wanted to take their kids.
I
So
remember
getting back
one.
to that is really important.
Big time. I remember one. I think it was one of the one. I think it was Gattuso's first. Well, it was Gattuso's first kind of Old Firm game,
Mhm.
and there was. I'm sure quote me if I'm wrong. I think there was like 20 odd thousand in Ibrox that time, or thirty
Yeah.
thousand, and it's great money, and it's
Yep.
money that comes in through the coffers as well.
Mhm.
And they don't need to fleece us as bloody much as they usually do. Do you know? It's
Exactly.
like,
Get the kids in the door. Let's face it. We're league games, quite often you don't get the kids in because most people are season ticket holders. And if you want to take your kids, try to get a seat where your kid can sit. So the two of you are together is like
aye,
nigh on impossible. You're wheeling and dealing tickets with people all the time. Um, I mean, obviously I'm good friends with Libby, and to me, Libby is the ticket queen because everybody goes to Libby for tickets, and she's constantly right. I need to go to the John Gregg statue because I've got this ticket to give to him, and da 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 da. She's constantly trying to sort people out as much as possible to get people together to kind of continue those traditions of people bringing their kids to
aye,
games. But it's getting more and more impossible as the years go on. Because
aye,
these days, let's face it, I mean, during COVID, my mum said to me, she's like, why are you continuing on your season ticket when you're not getting to go? You're paying your 500, 600 quid, whatever it is, for a season ticket, and you're not actually going to the games. I'm like, mum, I give up my season ticket. I'm not getting it back in my lifetime. Like, it's now at the point where you're waiting for people to die before you can actually get a season ticket. I'm like, no, I've had my season ticket since I was a kid. Like, I'm keeping that. Thanks very much. It's going nowhere.
aye.
But it's hard.
Oh, it's definitely hard, and it's. I mean, you were talking about the stress. I could remember when, I mean, as you know, I'm a health and safety guy, and I had a chat with people down in London, and it was what kind of things stress you and what kind of things make you anxious, and I got the whiteboard and I was writing down on it just like, right, what makes you anxious? Oh, it's the cost of living crisis, and what about you? Oh, it's the war in Ukraine, and what about you? And it's all these other things. And they said to me, what makes you anxious? And I said, Rangers. And they burst out laughing and they went, I said, what are you laughing at? It's fucking Rangers. It's only ever Rangers that get me upset. Do you know? And they either make your weekend or they ruin it.
Yep.
And like
Pre 2012, I followed Chelsea religiously. I followed international football religiously. I loved watching England and Northern Ireland. Was always knew who they were playing, when they were playing, scores, like everything. Loved it. See when 2012 happened, I've not looked at another team since. It's all about Rangers. People can say to me, like, they'll talk about players in the Celtic team or whatever, and I'm like, who's that? Like, I see if it's not Rangers, it doesn't register with me at all. I've just got no interest at all. And this is probably why I'm single, because all of my everything goes into Rangers, but worse than a relationship, I swear to God, because your highs are high. I mean, 55 was just unbelievable. But my God, they know how to take the rug from under your feet, don't they?
Aye, I know. But it's like even it's funny when you say that. Like it's always Rangers. I mean, I was speaking to some of the Chelsea fans at the start of the season, and they were saying, Craig, where is it? Like, what portion of love do you have for each of the clubs? And I said, well, for Rangers, it's like 99.9. I said, in Hamburg and Chelsea, you can wrestle for like 0.5% each. And they're like, no, but I thought you liked it. I says, aye, listen, I love yous and I love yous as football clubs. I says, but if I'm watching that game, nothing in the world gets me as excited or as agitated or anxious or stressed or whatever. There's
Yep.
no other game in the world apart from a Rangers game that gets me
All about the Rangers.
raging. It's all about the Rangers. And it can bring you sweet highs and very criminal bloody lows. So
Yes.
how do you deal with the lows? Right, I know how I deal with them, and I think I've been quite vocal, especially on here. How do you deal with them?
I rant. I love a good rant. So I'll rant to my pals, my family, the group chats, and you're ranting and all the rest of it and trying to get change. The older I get, the more I'm trying to let it go a little bit. It's like, right, I can't let it affect me because it does affect me quite a lot. It can just, like you say, it can ruin your whole weekend. And I got to a point where I'm like, I can't afford that. Like, I work bloody hard, and my weekends, quite often my weekends aren't even my time off. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm here on Meister holidays, and when I'm finished with you, I'm going to be sitting doing some prep work for when I go back. Because I've got a whole load of stuff that I need to get done. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, when I've got my weekends, I really need to have that time.
Mm.
But my God, it's hard. I mean, I'm not a big drinker or anything like that. So it's not like I turn to drink. I've never taken drugs. It's just not my thing. Like, I don't judge anybody for it, but it's just no for me. I'm not a smoker. My money all goes into Rangers, to be honest. That's when it all goes. But there are times when I'm just, I've got to say, went out on Saturday. So me and a couple of my pals went out. And I'd said, I was like, we're going to get gubbed. Like, it's a write-off Old Firm game. We're going to get gubbed. But we didn't. We actually played really well. And as Todd Cantwell came out and said, we lost the game. They didn't actually win it.
Aye.
And I think that infuriated me more. So I'm like, is a tequila rosy? Like, give me the shots and give me that. And we ended up having a really good night. So we did. But I was like, I actually just need to forget the football happened because I was just on that much of a rager.
It's
just
funny. Like even I remember when we used to drink in the Glaswegian and Bingham's and that, and anytime we get beat, it was a better night because I'm gonna need to watch what I'm saying here, but the more mental the contingent of our support would go home raging, fucking raging. How could we get beat with them? Blah blah blah. But they would go home and they would leave the rest of us just going, do you know what? We wake up tomorrow, we're still Rangers fans, and that's it. But at least I'm not a Celtic fan, and all that's I could say worse. But I'd say I was quite diplomatic there.
You were,
But
yeah.
it's all that kind of stuff. And some of the nights I remember we were doing a fucking conga round about Bridge Street, and we were all like there was fucking 50s going round about the streets doing the conga, and everybody's probably looking, going, "What the fuck?" It's like the Father Ted one. That's the Protestants up to the use again. That's about. But it's like they kind of things, and I don't know. I've found that even with Manchester was hard, and I was drinking in Manchester, so I was absolutely steaming. But with Seville, I was in Seville, and it was like maybe 3.5 years since I had a drink, and I found, oops, my lights have went off. Two seconds. Oops, my lights are off. There we go.
Been sitting still for too long. You need to sit and do your chair stretches.
That's me.
I want to see you giving it all this.
But it's, even with that, I mean, with Seville, I think with me being off the drink, the next day when I woke up, I thought, do you know what? there is nothing more we could have done, and what will be. Do you know,
Yeah.
it's hard to take, but I think the hangover was less severe. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've still not even seen the goals. I've not seen Ramsey's penalty miss. It's just things that I've not seen and I'll never ever watch again. But I think, especially one of the reasons that I do this, it's because I want people to open up and I want people to say, do you know what? Even no matter how bad the football makes you feel, because there will be a lot of people that are still drunk for Saturday and they've just no
Yeah.
sobered up and they'll
Yeah.
sober up like the kind of today. But it's just, you get that and you get that melancholy bloody feeling. And I
Yeah.
had that with the Scottish Cup final when Hibs beat us,
Yeah.
which is still, to this day, it's still my worst ever day as a Rangers fan.
Yeah.
I know there have been worse. I know 2012 and all that stuff, but for me, it was Hibs in that final, and the drink made that even worse.
Mhm.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
talking all the bloody years ago, but it did. It made it so much worse that we gifted them that cup.
Yep.
Do you know? And
Yep.
it would be hard as well if that was a cup game at the weekend, if that
Yeah.
was a cup
Oh yeah.
final. But it's dealing with it in certain ways to just, do you know, you can't, and that's the kind of part that I'm getting at, is you can't change. You've got no influence on that Rangers team. You've got no
Nope.
influence on Davies when he should have cleared it. You've got no influence on Suter with that stupid back pass. You've got no influence on making Alan McGregor 10 years younger and maybe coming out and getting that ball.
Unfortunately, what are we doing, by the way, when he retires? Like, oh my God,
I don't know. I
that's
don't
a big
know.
level of stress for me right now. What we doing with Griggs?
Certainly not getting in McLaughlin anyway.
I hope
would be.
not. Jesus,
And I think
horrific.
if McCrory was good enough, I think he would be in the team by now.
Yeah,
So
I
I
feel
don't
for
know.
McCrory, but that's four managers haven't played him now, and I kind of feel like there's
Exactly.
obviously he's not got what we need, but we need to be replacing McGregor. We need to be getting somebody in to train
100%.
under him so that they're ready to go, because McLaughlin isn't the answer.
100%.
But I
So
feel that we're not bringing through that talent, whether it be buying it in or whether bringing it through from the unders and things. That was the whole point in having the academies. We would train these players and then they would come up and they would train under the first team players as, like, you're kind of mentoring, you're shadowing, your apprenticeship as such, and then they would stroll into that role.
aye,
And it hasn't really happened. The closest we got to it was Nathan Patterson
aye.
working alongside Tav. So when Tav went off, when he was injured, Patterson took up that role beautifully. He did an absolutely phenomenal job for such a young lad. And then we sold him. Now, don't get me wrong, the money we got and everything was phenomenal, but it still irks me that he was essentially the replacement for Tav. And it was like, right, off you go. Ugh.
That's it. And I think we're looking at young boys. I'm not even going to name names just in case they ever do get the chance to see this, but there are a lot of young boys that are running about that B team that I like them. I really like them,
Yeah,
but the Rangers class, I don't know. I really
yeah.
don't know. And it could end up going back to the days. When you look at that Celtic team at the weekend, how many Brits were in it? I can think of Hart, McGregor. I'd say I'm the same as you. I don't know half their team,
I
but
know, I'm like,
I can
really?
think of two. But then there's like Japanese,
Yeah.
and I'm going to cut my story short there because I think I could get into trouble with some of the things that I might say. And I'm not repeating the stuff that I did say when I was in watching it in the meeting room,
Yeah.
because I'm a
But then
kind
my
person.
thing with that as well is you look at Celtic, so that Celtic have tapped into the Japanese market for years. When you look back in the day at Manchester, like with Nakamura and all that kind of stuff,
Aye,
and it's a market we've never tapped into. Why not? These wee guys are fast, they're good, they want to play, they're desperate for that chance. So
exactly.
why aren't we tapping into that kind of market? I mean, I don't really understand that side of things. Do I like having, like, we've got a good international mix, so why don't we go that slight bit further afield?
Just
Who
strange.
knows?
I think it's even the same. I mean, I was speaking to one of the guys. I think you know him as well, but there was one of the boys that's quite in the know at Ibrox, and he was saying that the scouting system's just away. They just don't care about the scouting system anymore, and they rely too much on Mr. Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've seen some of the picks that he's done. I mean,
Yep.
I was speaking to the guys this morning, and I was saying to them, you'd like say Doidge, Ferguson, Hickey, even Porteous. For as
Mhm.
much as Porteous is an asshole, it could have been our asshole. Do you know? Are you trying to tell me that Porteous wouldn't have fucking took him out on Saturday? 100% he would have taken him out. He would have.
Aye,
He would have.
he's
He would have
like
killed the ball away.
your Rickson, you know, when Rickson used to go mental and your
Aye,
Fergusons and all that kind of stuff. You need a madman in the team.
should he?
Do you mean
And see,
I don't particularly like Porteous, so I'm not sure I would have liked it if we signed him. But
no,
we do need a madman in the team, and we're
aye,
all too mellow. I mean, you look at Tav.
exactly.
Tav as a captain. If I was the captain and a foul had happened, I'd be right up at the ref, like you see other teams doing. Right up at the ref. What's going on here? You know, I'm the captain. Tell me what's going on. And he doesn't.
Aye.
Connor Goldson does more of the mouthing off than Tav does. And I'm like, okay, so who's our madman? Who's the one that's actually going to go after the ref and say this isn't good enough?
I was hoping it was going to be Lundstrom, but Lundstrom for some reason seems to have regressed so far. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what's happened with him behind the scenes. I don't know. I really don't.
yeah,
And for me, I mean, having a look at some of the players that are out of contract at the end of the season, and some of the players that could come through, and players that we need to get ready. Do you know, there's
yeah,
so many you could dream them off, and it's
yeah.
like a Tondo, 28 grand a week, and you're going. See, whoever sanctioned that, I'm not going to name his name, but Wilson should be sacked for that. But come on,
Yeah.
fuck. You've got him, you've got Yilmaz, you've got Davies, all these guys when we let players go on the cheap, like Ferguson, Hickey, Doidge,
Mhm.
Porteous, fucking Lyndon Dykes. Imagine Lyndon Dykes in that team on Saturday.
Yeah.
He would have fucking battered about 10 of them. And that's the kind of players that we need. And I think
Yeah.
when Alfie does leave, you're going to have to replace him with Dykes because he's a solid big boy and he can
Mhm.
handle himself. Do you
Yeah.
know?
I mean,
Anyway, as as
oh, I know we could go on forever, couldn't we? Like, it's just,
it's
aye,
always the same. So as I said, listen, Amanda does a lot of stuff, quite similar to myself. She does a lot of stuff, charity work, and always any time I see her Instagram, it's always the big sleep outs and walking here and fucking bungee jumping and
oh, no, 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 no,
fucking
you'll never catch me.
sleep
Zip lining and stuff,
sleep
aye, bungee jumping, no, that's no for me.
sleeping bags and helicopters and fucking
Right,
abseiling, all that shit. So what
I do what I
what
can.
what makes you what makes people like us do stuff like that? I mean, I know. And first, tell everybody about your job because I like that. It's really respectful, and tell everybody about a wee bit about your background with your job and just why you do the charity work that you do.
Okay, so I'm a teacher. Started off as a primary teacher, now I teach deaf children in mainstream schools across the board. So I literally work with newborn babies when they're diagnosed all the way through to the leave school. And our authority is actually now starting to branch out a bit and helping the kids to do their transitions from school into like further education, higher education, jobs, whatever the case may be. Because in England they support 0 to 25 years, we only do 0 to 18. So it's a case of we've held their hand the whole way through the school system, and then they're leaving school and it's like, bye. Let's face it. I mean, I went to uni in my first year of uni. I was crapping my pants. I was absolutely terrified. And I'd worked for the age of 16. I was in my third job by the time I got to uni. I had done fifth and sixth year, you know, all this kind of stuff. Like, I was quite knowledgeable about the world. But, oh my God, the thought of going into uni terrified me. And I didn't have any additional needs whatsoever. You know, I was able to just kind of go in and do it. So for our kids that we've supported so much, to just let them go isn't, you know, it's not good. And a lot of our kids, I get a lot of sleepless nights over because you look at the family situations and various different things, and it's trying to make things better for them, even though sometimes that's completely out of your hands. But I'm always trying to think about how I can make things better for them. The majority of my kids come from great families, and they don't have a care in the world. You know, their deafness is completely catered for and they do really well. But some of the kids need an extra hand, and some of the kids come from families that just couldn't give a damn and don't take them to appointments and all this kind of stuff. So we're always trying to put in as much as possible. And I think that's just, they say that teaching isn't just a job, it's a vocation. And I believe that. I do believe that sometimes the government tries to take the piss out of us, and it's like, oh well, it's a vacation, you love your job, so we're just not going to, we're going to give you harder jobs, and we're going to make you do more and everything. It's like, no, we still deserve the pay for it, or the better conditions or whatever. But it is a vacation. You cannot go into teaching if you don't like it. And if you don't want to work with people, and I'm a people person, people make me tick. I think that's another reason why I get into the volunteering. So obviously did my volunteering at Ibrox before they decided to scrap us as well. It's like, we don't need you. We provide a very valuable service here. No, but you don't pay us. Like, we're volunteers. Nope, don't want you anymore. Okay then, thanks for that. I got a free umbrella and a jacket. I'm like, whatever. But I interact with people all the time. I do a lot of fundraising for the Rangers Charity Foundation, for the RSEA, Rangers Supporters Erskine Appeal, for Poppy Scotland. They're kind of my top three, but I do dip in and out of other charities and things like that as well, because I just feel like no matter how shit you think your life is sometimes, and let's face it, everything's relative, everybody's life is shit at some points. And when you're in that point, you feel like you've got the worst deal out of everybody in the world, and what is the point? But there's always someone that's worse than you. Sometimes it's harder to see that, but there's always someone that's worse than you. So I feel that by fundraising for charity, I can help a little bit for other people. Plus, I get a lot out of it. Like, if people say to me before, oh, you blow your own trumpet when you're fundraising. No. What I'm doing is I'm putting everywhere that, by the way, I'm fundraising. Here is my link. Please give me money. Like, I'm sitting with, what is it, 1,500 or something followers on Twitter. God knows how many on Instagram, people on Facebook. See, if everybody gave you £1, you would be, I don't know who misses £1. £1 isn't even a cup of coffee these days. So I'm like, when I'm pushing it, I'm not saying, look at me, I'm wonderful for raising money for charity. No. I'm saying, can you give me money so I can help this charity out? Like, one of my favourite things to do is to sleep out, because half of that money goes to Glasgow City Mission. And Elise from the City Mission comes along every year and tells us everything they've been able to do. And a huge chunk of the money that we have raised has gone to actually get them a new centre that's open all the time, and provides beds and helps these guys and girls get a hot meal, and eventually tries to get them into accommodation of their own. And we contributed to that. Like, as Rangers fans, we had a big part to do with that. And that makes you feel good. So see, when you're having a bad day, when you think, what is the point of me being here? And I get those days a lot. People think that I had a girl in work say to me once, I mean, you're just the happiest person I know. And I'm like, but that's just a mask you put on. Like, I'm really not. Like, I've got my days like everybody else, and sometimes those days turn into weeks. And COVID was just, let's not even go down that road. But I like feeling like I'm like that. It's like I've helped someone. I'm good with that.
I think it's one of the ones as well. Like, it's the way that I look at it, because even with myself coming onto this job, and there's a wee guy, and I speak to him every day, and it's always, how you doing, mate? You all right? Anything I can help you with, and all the rest of it. And there was a good safety observation coming about him from one of the contractors, and I phoned up his boss, and I was like, listen, just to let you know, this has come in, good practice. Somebody's commented on. And he went, that's brilliant, thanks very much. Minute I finished my shift, straight up to the gate, and it was, they've given me 50 quid's worth of Amazon vouchers. And I went, listen, mate, buy the kids something. And he's like, no, listen, Craig, thanks very much. And I was like, listen, it's nothing, because you like to spread that wee bit of joy every single day. It's just to give back a wee bit. Good manners, well, I'm sure you get the exact same sentence. It was drilled into me, and it was good manners and civility cost you nothing. Do you know?
100%.
And unfortunately nowadays, I think that's half the reason why you do what you do, and why I do what I do as well. It's to try and let people know that people still do care. Do you know? We don't,
Yes.
excuse me, we don't stand on top of a roof shouting it, but at the same time, it's to let people know that it's the dark days will lift. Do you know? It's like you see posts I put on all the time, and it's, I've had my dark days, still have my dark days, sometimes dark weeks. And the way that I always put it is like it's like the big black dog, and the big black dog can be that size, or he can be that size. And fortunately for myself, maybe the last few weeks he's been up and down a wee bit, but I try and keep him like that size and keep him in my pocket. And
Yep.
it's even speaking to people and explaining that to them. Listen, go for a walk, try your meditation, even go to the doctors and get antidepressants. Just try something rather than
Yeah.
being stuck in that funk that life just gets on top of you.
Oh, life is so much. I mean, I had a friend when I was younger, Fraser, who jumped in front of a train, and none of us seen it coming because he was the happiest guy ever. And I'm like, people talk to us, you know what I mean? When I have my bad days, I'm not a talker. I won't talk about what's going on in my head because personally, for me, I feel like it's not going to change anything. So what's the point in putting my stress on other people? But what I do at those points, I'll surround myself by other people, or I'll pick up my phone, my pals, and be like, I need you, going to come over. I mean, maybe just sit and drink tea and talk shit. But sometimes that's what I need to remind me that, you know, you've got a place in this world. And I've got my three closest friends have given me a seven-a-side football team of nieces and nephews, which is marvelous. And I go and I spend time with them and things because that's what I need. I mean, I don't have kids of my own, probably never will have. And that's what I do. I surround myself with them because that's the kind of things that keep you going and let you know that life is shit, but it's the things that you do to can make it better. That's why I'm always disappearing off on holiday. That's why I'm never here. Because I'm like, get me out of here. Like, I need a change of scenery.
But it's the same as well. It's like I see it as you know, I do a lot of work for the men's mental health charities, and
Yep.
that's what I always say. There's a reason, like the same amount of females trying to end their lives as men, but it's just that 3 out of 4 are men that go through it. Do you know? Because we
Yeah.
don't talk. No, everybody's like Stevie. No, everybody's like me. That they're budgies. Do you know? And just don't shut the fuck up.
Yep.
The in general, guys just sit and go. Times are tough. I think I'll have another drink, and then I'll have another drink, and I'll mix
Yeah.
it with some cocaine, and then I'll mix it with a joint, and I'll do this and
Yep.
that, and it just fucking
Yep.
spirals. And that's all I'm doing this for, is just to get
Yeah.
guys talking, and for guys to go,
Yep.
maybe sitting on a Sunday going, I feel the way that he's talking to me because I can feel it, do you know,
Yeah.
and make guys wanting to make that change and just, do you know, trying something different rather than it being
Yeah.
go to AA, or there's a doctor's prescription for
Yeah.
some sertraline or whatever, do you know,
Hmm.
it's fucking wrong. And there's
Yeah.
so many people and that have just that they've got bloody answers that sorry, they've got questions that need answered.
Yep.
Um,
Exactly.
and, and again, that's why I appreciate what you do and what I do as well, is just trying to let other people see that we
Yeah.
do care and that there's other
Hmm.
people out there that are willing to help.
Yeah.
Because the
And you
government
know,
certainly couldn't give a fuck.
no, exactly. And I think it's so important that people see ordinary people like you and me. And it's that we have our problems as well. And I don't share most of my stuff. People don't know what goes on in my head, but there's a lot I struggle with in my life. People see me as being very successful. I have this conversation with one of my friends, and he's like, you've got a career and you've got your own house and you've got this and you've got that and you're doing really well in life. I'm like, yeah, but I don't have this and I don't have that and I don't have the next thing. Like, society judges you on different things. And I feel that. I really feel that as a woman who is closer to 40 than I would like to be. I haven't hit those milestones that I maybe would have envisioned for myself as a kid. But that doesn't make me any less of a success in life. And I struggle with that, but I think people need to know that even the happiest of people, and I am a happy person generally, I will put that mask on and I could have the shittiest morning, but see the minute I walk out that door and I'm in my car on the way to work, that smile goes on and everybody thinks that I'm the happiest person alive. Because that's what I want people to say. And I want people to be able to say, do you know what, I'm having a bit of a hard time. Come talk to me. Pick up the phone, come to my door. Like, I've always got tea. I've got coffee there as well if anybody's a coffee drinker, do you know what I mean? Like, I will have both. But it's like, come and see me. You know, spend a wee half hour an hour having a chin wag. Whether you want to talk about what's going on or whether you just want to distract yourself, please do it. Because not enough people will do it. And especially men. Men just are that whole like, oh, you know, it's not seen to be the right thing to cry or to lay my cards out on the table. No, come tell us what's struggling you. You know, everybody has struggles. Come and share them. You're superhuman if you think that, you know, oh, everything's fine and I don't need to talk to anybody. It's not true.
Oh, 100%. And I think that's the reason that I like surrounding myself with guys like Tom at Men Matter and these guys, because they
Mhm.
genuinely bloody care, do you know? And even
Yeah.
if anybody does end up listening to this and they are struggling a wee bit, by all means, either pop over to Amanda's for a cup of tea or go and see the guys up at Men Matter. Do you know? Just
Yep.
don't suffer in silence, because there's too many guys are just taking that road out,
100%.
and it's listen. I don't need to. It upsets me when I talk about it a wee bit too much.
Yeah, I'm the same. But even things like lots of people don't want to do things face to face and stuff. You and I have both got a really strong social media presence. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram and Twitter. My Instagram and my Twitter are open. I mean, my name's on there, Amanda, but I'm also under as Tigger, because I've got that much bloody energy that I've been Tigger since I was young. I was actually, when I was out on Saturday, one of the boys like, I know you. How do I know you? I think I know you for social media. I was like, my name's Amanda. And he's like, that's not ringing bells. I was like, Tigger. And he's like, oh my God, Tigger, that is you. Like, yep, that's me. Which is another reason for this to sleep out. I wear the Tigger outfit because it's like, it's sort of brand representation. But it's going to sound like pure corny cheesy. Slide into our DMs. If you don't want to actually have a conversation face to face, get yourself in those DMs. Say, look, I just need somebody to sound off to. And I find sometimes writing things down helps. Write down a big long rant of a message and send it to me. Go for it.
But what I will say, and I know guys are not good at talking, but guys are good at sending other things in DMs. So
Oh, don't even start me on that, Jesus.
If anybody's thinking about doing any of that dodgy shit, don't bother. Just send
Please
them.
don't. I've seen it all before. It's not impressive. It's not fancy. I'm not going to fall over. I'm not going to fall head over heels in love with you. No.
Oh, for fuck's sake! It's just wrong, and unfortunately, that's the generation my kids are growing up in. It's just like, like when we were younger. Oh, I fancy you, and do you want to my pal?
That's the days we used to batter each other when you liked each other.
Yeah, it was kiss,
It
cuddle,
like,
torture.
and and you used to hit people and it'd be like, oh, she likes you and he likes you and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
But now it's like, oh, I fancy you. So there's a picture of my Bobby.
I know, and you're like, by the way, they're all the same. Like they really are all the same. It's like tits and pussy, they're all the same. Like, they might have slight differences, but like I had a guy messaging me last night as well, like, oh, send me a picture of you. And I'm like, I've got plenty of pictures on my social media. No, I mean like a picture of you. And I'm like, I'm a teacher. There's no chance you're getting to see my bits. If that's happening, it's happening in person. Do you know what I mean? No.
You bastards. So anyway,
It's mental. That's a whole different track.
The DMs are open for sensible adult conversation. The DMs are not
Yes.
open for little boys with little toys that want to do something with them that have probably never seen a naked woman in their life.
Well, there's that as well, aye.
I said, I'm going to have to go, Amanda, but
No
listen,
problem, love.
I love it when decent people come on and share their stories. I know how passionate you are about mental health. I know how passionate you are about your job and raising money for charity. And listen, I'm proud that I know you. And I say that for the bottom of my heart, because you really do, you genuinely care. And if there was more people like yourself in the planet, as I say, it would make life a hell of a lot more worth living. Do you know? Because there's too many self-centered people in the world these days. It's always refreshing to meet somebody that's decent. Do you know?
I try my best, but I know you're the same. So yeah. We'll get a wee fundraiser going at some point soon when you're actually off Shetland.
Shetland. I mean, it's Shetland, isn't it?
Yeah, it'd be nice. I'm sure the people up there love it.
We'll sort something, 100%.
Definitely.
Listen, I'll let you crack on, and I'll catch up with you in person, maybe even at the weekend, because I'm going to be at the game, so maybe even catch a coffee or something before
I'll
the game.
be sunning myself in Lanzarote, I'm afraid, my darling.
Dirty lucky bastard.
I am out of here. Told you my holidays, I'm usually gone.
Wish I had money, but no, I've got fucking 3 wins.
That's what plastic's for. And no children helps.
Well,
and Rangers not being in Europe and stuff, that also helps.
Exactly, but the plastic's the reason I'm up here, is to make some money to pay off the plastic, and then when the plastic's up, then it's back to square one. And then it's
so we get a wage rise. With the wage rise, we got a back date. And Mom's like, what are you doing with your back date? And I'm going to Dusseldorf in the summer to visit my friend. And Dusseldorf had already been put on the plastic, so my whole back date went straight on the plastic. I'm like, well, that's Dusseldorf paid for.
Happy days.
Exactly. It's got to be done.
I got a coupon up a couple of weeks ago, and the full of the coupon just went on taking me and the missus away to Porto. I was like, do you know what? There you go. It's like, there's
Yep.
500 odd quid. There it goes away on a couple of
Right,
flights. It's like, fucking, I would love to have money, but again, it doesn't buy you happiness. Do you know what I mean?
No.
I'll die a pauper, 100%.
Yeah, because I'm forever spending all my money on holidays and stuff. Like, I like to get those experiences. I like to get away, like a bit of sunshine. Like, I totally live in the wrong country. Like, I need the sun. See, in the winter when it's dark outside and everything, God, see, try to get me out of my bed. I've definitely got that sad syndrome. I can't deal with the dark. I'm a sunlight baby. So
It's the funny thing is, it's like even with that post that I put on Instagram yesterday, and it's like taking care of the ones that you love and all that, and it's who do you want to be remembered as? Do you know? And just before we go, like, I get people coming into my page and giving me dogs abuse, and I'm going, listen, you fucking prick, I'm not here to put up with your shite. I'll bet you get the same, and you get Bobby pictures and all that crap. And it's like, that's what you'll be remembered as, somebody that takes a picture of their cock and sends it to somebody. You'll be remembered as a nobody. Do you know? It's fucking actually having the balls to. I mean, I know you, and I know you put your own face on your profiles. I'm the exact same. There is nowhere to hide from me, and I don't care because I'm a decent guy, and that's it.
And you get people getting abuse all the time. People getting abuse for the way you look and the team you support and all that. Bring it on. Like, I actually don't care of other people's opinions of me. Do you know what I mean? Because the people's opinions that matter to me are the people that are closest to me. And they will always tell me the truth. If they think I'm being a cow about something, I will be told quite swiftly by everybody close to me. And likewise, you know, if you're having a day where you're maybe a wee bit up here and you're like, whoa, you know, if you need brought down, they will bring you down. You know, like, it's that's the people. So see, when you get stupid messages, it's like, oh, I used to pander to people all the time. I used to let people away with murder. I was literally a doormat for years and years and years because I was too nice to people. I don't know how to be a nice queen either. It's not my thing. So now you get one chance. And if you piss me off a second time, the block button is my favourite thing in the world. Block, delete, marvellous.
That's the way that it should be. It's just, you get a lot of these pricks, and it's unfortunately the way that life is now is opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, and a lot of these guys and girls love to behave like fucking assholes, and they just see, the worst thing is, like, they know nothing. Do you know that way? And I'm one of the guys, I would never ever speak down on people because it's just knowing my nature. But see, some of them, you go, fucking fuck off. Do you know? Oh, Alex,
go and live a life. Go and walk a mile in somebody else's shoes, and then come back to me. Aye.
Alex, I'll accept second place this season. You're like, fuck you. Never. Never.
Oh, I never accept it, but sometimes you just have to go with it. It's like, you know, it's never good enough, but sometimes you just need to go, right, okay, so what we're doing for next season.
Exactly, and that's what we've got to do.
100%. Rangers will be the death of me, I swear to God.
Aye, there's a reason why we're the sick man of Europe, eh? Fucking drinking and Rangers and all that good stuff.
Aye.
But listen, I better get going now because I'm allegedly meant to be working. But
You've done a lot of good work today.
That's it. Fucking plenty of good work.
I'll put in a commendation for you, right, Craig? Just send me the email of the person I need to.
100%. He's a Celtic fan, so he'll probably not back me up.
Well.
That's not. I'll catch up. I'll definitely catch up with you before the end of the season anyway. And we need to get big team A's together and we'll head out to Hamburg